Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Rays Rewind with Bell, Bushman, and Drew.
Jansen. That is into center field. Here comes Kiermaier. Phillips has tied the game. Arose Arena coming around. Throw home. Now he stumbles. But the ball gets away. Tampa Bay wins it. Brett Phillips, Game 4 hero.
The sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Go to our YouTube page, hit the subscribe notification bell when new episodes drop. I am Evan, the great old Bushman, and joining me as usual is Drew. We have a great show for you guys tonight. Of course, we will address the elephant in the room about the Boston series. But don't worry, we've got a special guest who's going to join us to talk about that. Not only is he a special guest, he's going to ride with us the rest of the way throughout the 2026 season. Please welcome back to the show, Ryan Pepiot. What's up, buddy? Welcome back. Welcome back to
Thanks,
the show.
guys. I'm excited to be here for the long haul.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, man. How was the All-Star break? Did you get a little bit of rest? Did you do anything fun? How was your break?
My break was it was actually great. Lil, my wife and I, we went to Newport, Rhode Island. Kind of got away. Stayed up in Newport for a few days. Flew in on Sunday afternoon, evening, and then came back Wednesday afternoon. Just a few days away. It was nice to get away from the heat of Florida, and since I'm not traveling this season.
Very nice.
And we watched Gilded Age on Netflix, which is like the old school TV show where like kind of like the social age came in, and then she'd already been there, but I hadn't been. So we went and explored some 60,000 square foot mansions that were, I don't know how people actually lived in them or used any of the spaces, but all the rooms had designated spaces. And I'm like thinking to myself as a finance guy, I'm like, how much should this cost? And they're like, yeah, back in the day it was like 2 million. And then you look and like nowadays it's like worth like 700. I'm like, okay, gonna need to play for a long time and get like maybe 2 Juan Soto's contracts to afford one of these.
Did you happen to get a chance to watch the All-Star game in the Home Run Derby that was on?
I did watch both of them. I enjoyed the broadcast of the Home Run Derby. I like the format too. Thought it kind of like blended the old school Home Run Derby where you had the 10 outs and then also what they've done in the past few years with the timed rounds. Was really pulling for Junior to pull that one off. But
I love the fact that they got away with the whole pitch clock because you take less pressure off the pitcher. Now the pressure should be on the hitter like it should be. I like the fact that they took that away. One thing they need to bring back is the golden ball, like back in the day. They need to bring back that.
Yes.
One question to you. Did your heart drop or get a pit in your stomach when Junior was hit during the game?
What was the first word out of your mouth?
What was that word that came out of your mouth when you saw that happen? And I think we all saw it in slow-mo too. What was your initial reaction when that happened?
A bleep word.
Okay,
a bleep word, and then it was a quick text to him afterwards. And then I got a funny picture from him about 20 minutes later after his x-rays came back negative where he was just cheesing and was like, I'm okay, with his like pinky up. I got that. It's the new Junior Caminero contact photo for me. So whenever he calls me now, that picture is going to come up.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, it was a collection of like guts and like size and oh my God, the season's over on everybody on social media. And then once the report came out, they came out negative. Everybody was like, oh, we can breathe easy now. But
luckily we don't play the Cardinals again this season.
Right.
Oh, Riley. That's my first thought. I was like, man, if the Cardinals were coming to the Trop, Riley O'Brien would down with Riley O'Brien. I don't know him personally, but I don't know what his problem was throwing up and in an all-star game. We came down, we got done putting our 2-year-old son to bed, came downstairs, and my son had the game on. He's like, oh, Junior just got hit. And I'm like, oh, it's probably nothing, whatever. And the first scene I see is Junior on the ground, like he's dead on the batter's box, something. Oh my gosh. And that slow-mo with his pinky.
Yeah.
Man,
that was terrifying.
I would have lost money because I would have bet so much money that it was broken. I mean, like,
yeah,
I don't know how
when your hands here and come in, it's just such a weird spot. And then after the game, he's like, yeah, I'll be fine. I'm playing the 2 days, and then plays both games, a doubleheader, and goes yard. He's all right.
Yeah, he's totally fine. All right, well, let's address the elephant in the room. The Rays did drop the 4-game series, got swept today. When you're watching this podcast, they got swept yesterday. Of course, this will be aired on Mondays, but the Rays just got swept by the red hot Boston Red Sox in Beantown over the weekend, the doubleheader on Friday, and then the Saturday and Sunday game. Basically, the Rays ran into a buzzsaw, and it was the Boston Red Sox. We're going to come at it as a fan point of view, but Ryan, as you are a pitcher on that team, let's go at it at your point of view as a player. Like, after something like this happens, I'm sure you've talked to the boys. How can you divulge a little bit of information? Are they in good spirits? Is everything like? Are they just like, look, it happens. We're gonna move on to the next series. What's the mentality like from some of the boys?
It's more flush it, move on to the next one. That's the good thing about baseball is you always get tomorrow. And then luckily that series is over. Head up to Toronto, short trip, and then go play 4 against the Blue Jays and try to salvage the road trip a little bit. Luckily, obviously a 4-game sweep is not what you want, but on the flip side, we've swept a lot of teams early on in the season already. So it kind of like makes up for it a little bit. Plus being I think we're 14 games above 500 right now. Like we're still in a really good spot and it's not time for no one's hitting the panic button. It's just baseball. You ran into a red hot team that's won 13 straight now at this point. And sometimes you just hit those buzzsaws. It's just part of baseball. That's kind of how everyone's looking at it. Flush those games as a pitcher, understand where things went wrong, and then build on it, not take it into the next one.
And luckily, the Yankees are playing the Dodgers too, which helps out a lot too as well for the lead.
Okay.
That
doesn't hurt.
That does help.
Doesn't help.
Actually, Ryan, I wanted to ask you. So last year, I went back and looked because Boston actually, since the beginning of last year, Fenway Park's been a tough place for us. Like, obviously we won the series earlier in the year, but I think I looked back and we're 3-11 in the last 14 in Fenway. And my mind went back to last season at the end of the first half. So I believe it was like end of June, Rays were riding high. They had a couple games up in the wild card, maybe a game or so behind the Yankees for the division, and then had a tough road trip with Minnesota and Detroit, and then finished it off with the 4-game sweep in Fenway last season to end the first half with Ceddanne Raffaello's homer. I still can't, like, that was just stuff of nightmares for me. But you pitched in that final series game, that final Sunday right before the All-Star break last year. So kind of going through something similar last year with the 4-game sweep, a little bit different time of the year and a little bit different standing for the team. But like when you get into the clubhouse immediately after, is the team just, I guess, what's the attitude? Is it really just like, hey, not that guys are, laughing or cracking jokes, or maybe they are. It's just like, hey, we're not even going to think about this anymore. We're just moving on, like almost like it didn't happen, so to speak. Or is it just you give yourself like the rest of the evening as a team to be pissed off, and then you're just mentality shifts the next day? Like, what's that like? Because I know for fans, it really bugs us a lot, right? Like we ride the waves, the emotional waves, much more than maybe the players do. And so I'm just curious, like, because you've lived this and obviously what this team's like now, like, what is that like going back into the clubhouse after, a 4-game sweep like this against a divisional opponent?
It's a lot of, it's pretty quiet after a loss. And then after a series loss or a sweep, it's quiet for a little while. Obviously, yes, today, it would be a getaway day heading to Toronto. So just try to, flush it, leave it in the locker room. You probably have about an hour till the bus is taken off to the airport. So, maybe give yourself 20, 30 minutes to sit in it and sink in the loss and, be as frustrated. But then after that, it's okay, it's over. Nothing you can do about it now. Go on to the next one. And how can we win the game tomorrow and win this next series? Last season, I do remember where that was because I remember giving up a home run. I think it was to Ceddanne Raffaello as well.
Oh man!
Way to remind him, Drew. Jeez, God.
I'm sorry. Well,
it's fine.
Honestly,
I don't know if it was. I can't remember if it was that one.
Us.
I mean, he kind of owns. Somebody,
yeah.
I think BA was talking about it. He was like he was owning us.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if it was that game or if it was the one later in the season when he hit one off the ladder on the Green Monster, and it hit the top of the ladder and then bounced over the fence. So it was going to go off and maybe be a double, but then ended up being a home run. So I remember that. So appreciate that reminder. But
I was talking about Pete Fairbanks.
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember that one too. I remember that one too.
That was
but
awful.
I do. Speaking of Pete Fairbanks, I think one of his good post game interviews was like he was talking. I think Mark Topkin asked a question, and he looked up at the clock and he goes, "I will give myself 23 and a half minutes till it hits this clock time, and then it's done and over with." That's how a lot of the guys are after the game. You give yourself a certain amount of time to be frustrated. You hit the showers, you flush it, and then you go on. And if you're at home, you go home to your wife, family, and once you do that, everything leaves. And I understand where you're coming from with the fan perspective, where you ride the highs a little bit. Yeah. We can't afford to do that, because if you start doing that, then it's just going to be a roller coaster of emotions, and it's going to be a rocky season. Where we try to stay as even keeled as possible throughout the whole entire year. Whether you win that game, be excited for a little bit, but then leave it. Got to go do it again the next day. Lose, be frustrated, leave it, come back the next day and be better.
Is Cash kind of the same way? Is he kind of like even kill when after obviously a sweep is just kind of just demoralizing, but like after this has happened, is he just kind of like stoic, hey, good pep talk, or is he pulling a Lou Brown and just throwing stuff all over the place in the locker room?
No, I haven't seen one of those. I haven't seen a chair thrown. I haven't seen Gatorade jug thrown yet.
He's not doing a Lou Piniella anytime soon.
I wouldn't mind seeing it. I think it would be a cool story to be able to say when I'm done playing, have that one in the back pocket for a good story. But no, he's very even keeled, where it's, so what? Come back tomorrow. It's a very, so what, next day, even when we win, it's okay, let's go do this again tomorrow.
Yeah. Is there any, is there any effort to have any sort of pep talk from the coaches of hey guys, any sort of addressing of, we're good. We're going to take care of this tomorrow. No worries. Let's just get, let's move on. Or is it hey, y'all are a grown men. We don't have to sit and talk about it or, remind you, you handle your own business kind of a thing. That's what fascinates me. Cause we just don't that's the kind of stuff we have no idea as humans. Everybody's human, has emotions and stuff. I'm just curious how especially Cash and the coaches address that out, if they do at all.
It's more of, we're grown men and we'll handle it. If there needs to be something said, maybe after a couple, a bad road trip, you've lost 5 or 6, something like that. Maybe it's hey, let's pick it up. Or if there's something glaring, I remember, I think it was when we went to Atlanta in 24, and we were just absolutely atrocious at letting runners just take second on us, because focusing on the runners wasn't necessarily a priority at the time, but we were just giving up stolen base after stolen base after stolen base. And then we got a little chewing out from that. But those are it's just when it's something that's glaring. Or when I think there was a series or stretch last year when we just had walked the house for 3, 4, 5 straight games, and it was hey, get back in the zone. Or I think a couple games in a row where we given up pretty big 0-2 hits, and it's get the 2 strike pitches out of the zone, so they can't do anything with them. Or if they do, it's a luck batted ball up where you throw a good pitch and just tip your cap to them, not give them something good to hit.
Is there any thoughts about sacrificing live chickens in the locker room to get rid of the slump? I mean, I'm just messing with you. It's just major league. I'm dropping.
No, maybe what's the little thing you
incense? Yeah, the incense or stuff like that.
I don't know if you've seen in the dugout recently at home. I had a good stretch with Yandy. He went 5 for 5, where I would put his helmet on and then I'd kiss his bat, and then he'd get it to walk out. And then one time he forgot to bring it over to me, and then he got out, and then I just looked at him. I'm what are you doing, man? We had a good run here. And then he gave it back, and then I think he walked or something like that, and he just looks at me at first base, and is I'm see.
He did have some words. He did have some words to say after the game. I think Ryan Bass maybe asked him a question about the struggles he's had at the plate lately. I think he's going 1 for 19, and he's said an expletive. It's frustrating or something like that. So as guys in the clubhouse are struggling at the plate, you guys as pitchers, how can you guys pick up the guys that are the hitters as hey, look, you guys are going to get through this, you're going to get back on track? Is there any kind of picking the other guy up when it comes to those sort of things, especially guys that have been struggling at the plate? Yeah,
it's one of those where as the pitchers, we just want to go out there and try to throw up zeros. I think the biggest way we can try to pick them up is when they score a run we go out and throw up an immediate 0. And I think in this series, we didn't necessarily do that very well. But that's the biggest way that we as pitchers talk about how can we pick the guys up. If they're going through a little bit of stretch, but they give us too early, like how can we make that last and try to throw up zeros? Like obviously it's not always going to happen, but that's a good way what we're trying to do as pitchers to pick up the guys.
Yeah, this series, I think that we led. I keep saying we. I apologize. I know I'm like one of those fans. I'm not even on the team, but we led 3 innings all weekend, I think, and I can think of multiple, even just from Friday and Saturday, where hey, we took the lead, 2-0, or went up 1-0 or something like that, and they came right back next inning. Just some really weird numbers. I mean, yesterday's game especially, they had 6 hits. All of them were extra base hits. They were either doubles or homers. And then today, I think we went 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position. So it just came down to they're playing really well. There was a lot of stuff happening early in the series too, where just the baseball stuff, when it's not going your way, it's really not going your way, where they've gotten they're getting blooping the ball in play, making, they're a great fielding team. They got great outfielders between Rafaela and Abreu for sure. So it's not cheap, lucky, but they made some great out defensive plays, like things kind of going against us. And then I just not be able to make the pitch when we needed it. I mean, you think about Clevenger, lefty on lefty, although Abreu hits lefties really well this year. 3 fastballs in a row. And then McClanahan today, I thought about McClanahan's. There was, there was the inning where we put up the inside the park home run with Mesa Jr., who listen, we're a big Mesa Jr. fan club on this show. We think he's wonderful. But we didn't cash in. Then after that, there was runners, I think second and third, 1 out maybe, and we didn't cash in, and they come back around and McClanahan's got to bear down, and just, there was a close pitch, didn't get called, next pitch, double. There was just moments where we had to make the big pitch, couldn't do it. They made the big pitch when they needed to. So it's just bad timing, maybe. I don't know. One of those things that you try not to think. I'm sure as players, you just, like you said, flush and move on. And they were talking about this a lot on the broadcast, but 13 in a row, and to their credit, you got to win 13 in a row, and it's a heck of a win streak against the 9-game on road streak, our road win streak that they had coming in. But they're still 2 games above 500. They're in a playoff spot, obviously, but the Rays have banked so many wins early on that being able to withstand a sweep like this, thankfully you guys put yourselves in good spot to do that. Now it's you got to stop the bleeding, but it's not. People are freaking out way too much over. It's not the end of the world. This doesn't alter the entire season as much as some people.
Tell that to the average Rays fan, Drew. Come on,
I think a lot of the whole series was just baseball. It's you can just chalk it up to baseball is going to baseball. The Friday game, we had a lot of really, really hard hit balls that found gloves, and then they had a bunch of bloop hits, and then the bloop and a blast type thing, and pitch doesn't go our way. And you lose a challenge or something like that, or you try and something close, and you're like, how does that guy take that pitch? And then today I felt like Sonny Gray was kind of around the zone. He threw a lot. The strike to ball ratio wasn't great, and we had tons of opportunities, just didn't cash in on them. And that's going to happen. Like you said, you just stop the bleeding, go face a different opponent that's not won 13 games in a row, go up to Toronto. It's a fun place to play, fun city, and the Rogers Center is an awesome environment, and I'm sure it's going to be rocking like it always is. And I like the boys' chances to turn around this road trip and salvage it a little bit.
We have to. It's got to be.
Absolutely.
Got to be done.
Brian, when you watch games, just out of curiosity, when you're watching games like this season, especially when they're on the road, are you able just to watch it, not as a fan, because obviously you're in a different position, right? You're on the team, but or do you kind of are you pitch by pitch, this is what I would do? Or are you trying to get are you able to take yourself out of that strategy mode of pitching and just watch the game? Or are you, kind of almost putting yourself in the moment of okay, here's how I would do it, or here's what I think they're probably going to do, knowing all of what what's that like for you?
I think it's more of not what I would do. It's more like I know who's on the mound, and I think I know what they're going to do in this situation. Or they throw a certain pitch, I'm like, maybe I would have gone with this. But hindsight's 2020. I'm not the one on the mound, and I'm not in the bullpen when they're warming up, so I don't know what's feeling good that day. I mean, I can kind of get a gauge on it a little bit, like in the first 2 or 3 innings, when from the starter's perspective, when you can kind of see usage wise, you kind of know a little bit. Okay, maybe they weren't feeling the slider that day, or they weren't feeling the changeup as much. But I do have like a fan appreciation of it now, knowing the hard work and everything that all these guys put in, from seeing it on a day-to-day basis, where I can kind of step back a little bit and truly enjoy it as a fan of baseball, and not just as a teammate.
Were you just as frustrated as we are when we kept throwing to Abreu and he was just knocking them out of the park? Because that was just killing me every single game of this series.
Yeah, that guy's good. He's really good.
He's super
He
underrated.
hits both sides of the plate really well. He plays a really good right field in that weird right field that they have in Fenway, and that guy's got an absolute bazooka for an arm.
I was about to throw my old phone I have to turn in on Monday because we kept throwing to him. I was like, you guys can just walk him. I mean, you can just walk him if you want to. He's just gonna hit it out of the park.
Hindsight's 2020. You get him out, you play the odds. He's going to get himself out 7 times out of 10. So
rarely do we back down from anybody. They always go right after you. That's partly
we
why they
we trust the pitching process. Trust the process that's going to yield results over a course of 162 game season. The amount of times I've heard Kyle Snyder say that to me is crazy. No, because it's situational based too. When you get an Aaron Judge up or a Bray who's hitting the way he was, it's, you have to be a little bit finer because of the damage that they can do, but you don't back down from the challenge where you're gonna just throw them all meatballs or spin or all off speed. You have to attack and establish fastball, maybe throw something inside to stand them up a little bit to get them a little bit uncomfortable at the plate. But when you maybe have 2 guys on, when an Aaron Judge or somebody's coming up and you have that person circled in the scouting report, don't let him beat you. It's okay. Now I got to be more fine and understand, okay, do I have an open base? Who's on deck? It's where the gamesmanship and the chess match kind of truly comes into play.
All right, let's move on. We're going to go into AL sleepers and threats. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Ryan, you weren't on the show last week where I called Aaron Judge a stooge because he did this after Raz got, had a bad outing against the Yankees that series. But I want him beamed when he comes back. I want him beamed when he comes back because he's such a stooge doing that stuff. I mean, what was your reaction when he was doing that in the dugout? Were you like, dude, he's such a stooge?
I didn't really notice it at first. I had to see the video of it later on.
I can clip it up real quick if you want.
No, I've seen it.
I'm just messing. I've
definitely seen it. It was a little interesting coming from Aaron Judge because I have talked to him and I know how nice of a guy he is. But it's you're also in the dugout with the boys and you're shooting the breeze and you're having fun and you're getting in the moment. So I can totally see it because we'll say some stuff from our side of the dugout when somebody's getting pulled or maybe you hit a home run off somebody and you're just screaming shower ball at them.
I'm not trying to rile things up or anything.
No, it's fine. I've given up a few shower balls myself, so
okay.
I will have said it because I've had it said to me as well. Okay. But I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to beam him because if you do that, then that means probably Junior or Yandy's getting drilled.
That is very true. That's very true. That's a good point.
Ryan. So the headline's gonna be Ryan. I think I just heard Ryan wants to fight him in the parking lot. I think,
no.
I think that's what I saw.
All right, let's get into AL sleepers and threats. After this week, the Boston Red Sox are in the wild card slot. I think they are in the last slot for the wild card after this week, winning 13 in a row. The Orioles are also a team on a hot streak, winning 7 in a row too as well. So lots of teams are starting to get hot at the right time. I want to go into AL sleepers and threats. Now, a lot of analysts have said the AL is garbage this year. There's no real dominant team. It's kind of just like an open-ended thing where it's anybody's AL to win. But now since we're in the second half, we're getting closer and closer to the trade deadline, as also as August and September baseball. What teams could be those sleepers and threats to win not only the AL East, hopefully we're still going to be the Rays, but also the AL pennant this year? Drew, I'll go to you first.
Yeah. To be honest with you, outside of our own team, right? I mean, I do think that the Red Sox, and I'm not saying this, I mentioned this last episode before the All-Star break. I think the Red Sox pitching, even when they weren't, the record wasn't good, right? It was the offense that was really struggling. They just couldn't score runs. Their pitching was always a strength. And I'm a big believer that if you can pitch really well, right? I mean, you're always going to be in games. We've seen that with the Rays, this year for the most part, and in the past. So for me, the Red Sox is, if they're going to keep hitting like this, obviously not winning every single game, but if they're going to consistently put up more runs, they're going to have the recipe for success because you've got strong starting pitching. They've got so many lefties that you just don't see that much anymore. And the Rays have handled lefties really well this year, and that wasn't the case this week, obviously. And then you've got a great strong back end of the bullpen with Whitlock and Slayton, I believe, and then Chapman. And if the offense is, with Contreras and Abreu, pulling their weight, and Rafaela, having a big year this year too, like they're getting contributions from guys in the offense. And this is arguably without their best player, which is Roman Anthony, who may come back. I don't know. So you got to think they're going to be aggressive at the deadline. Like I really think that even if they're the last wild card team in, they've got the pitching and just enough offense to be formidable. And I actually feel the same exact way about the Mariners. I don't believe the Mariners are in a playoff spot at the moment, but I just think the Mariners pitching with some of the stars they have in their lineup that are having down years, but you just think that eventually they're going to pull it together. So I would say for me, it's the Mariners and the Red Sox at this point in terms of those kind of borderline teams. I don't think the Orioles have good enough pitching. I've thought that literally since the offseason. Yeah, for me, it's the Red Sox and Mariners.
Ryan, who you got?
Why'd you have to steal one? I was going to throw in the Mariners.
Sorry,
pitching.
That's right.
Man,
you got way better. You got way better analysis than me. I probably shouldn't have said two. I'm sorry, but
they are one game out of the last final card spot. They're one game out.
I know it's just so the wild card is so mumbled and jumbled right now with so many teams so close that it's so hard to just pinpoint one team. I think it's who's going to be in a position towards the trade deadline and then towards late August where they're close or maybe in a wild card spot and then they just get red hot. And I thought Seattle, because of that pitching staff, it's going to be able to keep them in games whether the offense is on or not. And they do have a really solid offense, and we saw them without Julio Rodriguez. So when he comes back, that's just another person in the lineup that adds some length to that lineup. Obviously, the Red Sox playing really well right now. That helps. But is 13 games in a row sustainable? Not sure. But they're playing really well, swinging the bats well. And like you said, they do have the pitching, which once that back end of the bullpen is released, it's tough to get runs off of those guys. Obviously, the Yankees are always going to be tough. But other than that, I think if you go,
I was going to ask: is there any team
that
is there any team that could come out of nowhere where nobody's expecting them to just all right? Now they're just let loose and they're just on fire. Is there any team out there that could catch fire?
Maybe Houston. Maybe I think they're maybe. I
think
don't
Detroit.
know. Are they going to do something and not trade School and then he gets $500 million in the offseason? I don't know.
Well,
who knows?
Yeah, he'll go buy himself a mansion in Newport.
He could afford it.
He can.
Yeah, their schedule. So they lost today, the Angels, but they play at Wrigley, which it's not easy. Of course, that's a tough series. But then they get Kansas City, Baltimore, and the Athletics, Sacramento. Seattle, San Francisco, Cleveland. They just have a pretty good up until they play us, the Rays, on August 24th. Their schedule is really not that difficult, and if they can pull together enough before the deadline and keep Skubal, which they're just looking for any reason to keep Skubal. I mean, they don't want to trade him. I think they have good enough pitching, and the offense has shown to be good enough. I just think that they could go on a run, and then if they're in the playoffs and you got to face Skubal, Framber, Casey Mize, Jack Flaherty, who's, experienced, up and down this year, but experience, that gets scary real quick. So, and I mean, they took it to the Rays this year too. So it's in there. It's just a matter of, it's kind of been a weird season for them as a team. Yeah. So they put it together in the next 2 weeks. I think because 4.5 out of a wild card.
They are.
So
I'll be in Chicago this week, and I'm actually going to the game on Tuesday, so I'll let you know how the Tigers do. So
there you go. Dude, Wrigley's such a cool place to watch a game. It's
even my first time there.
It's less of an intimidating environment when it's a weekday, because the weekend with all 3 games being day games and the people there are wild. And it's awesome. And like the video broadcast, like I watched Taj start the other day against the Cubs in Wrigley, because it was the 10-year anniversary where they had all the guys from the World Series there. And obviously friends with Taj, still want to watch him. And then I'm good friends with Michael Bush as well. And Bush took him deep. So it was cool. Sorry, Taj. But anyway, going to a game in Wrigley, it's cool. I grew up in Indianapolis, so it's a 3-hour drive. So I used to go to games in Cincinnati and then in Wrigley as well. So
it's my first time there. I'm going to be wearing Rays gear. Is that kind of no?
No. It's perfectly fine. You're going to see a little bit of everything there. I mean, I used to wear Reds jersey into Wrigley Field, and that was when it was not cool to do that. But I was also a high school kid or middle school kid, so nobody really said anything to me. But yeah,
well, I'm a 43-year-old man, though.
Nah, you'll be fine.
Okay.
The good thing is you're not wearing like the opposing team. Like you're not wearing a Detroit jersey. But get the full experience of it. Go early. Go to the bars around the stadium. Like get there early. Batting practice cool there, and then enjoy it afterwards. Like just walking around Wrigley after the game with the people walking around, and it's such a walkable area. It's a cool spot. And definitely get some pizza.
All right. Any good spots,
I'll send you one. I got one really good one.
All right. Okay, let's move on to Something or Nothing, our weekly segment that we have here. So we have 3 topics that we'll get into. Something or Nothing. First topic, the Home Run Derby on Netflix was great. Ryan, we already know your answer on that. You said it was great to begin with, so this is something for you. Drew, I'm going to pass it over to you because I've heard your answer on this
one. Can I do a middle ground? Is that fair?
Yes, you can. Yes,
is that allowed?
You can do that.
So it's like it's something, but kind of nothing. I love Matt Vasgersian, so I was pumped that he was on the broadcast. I just like him a lot. I thought the camera work was a little shoddy. There's some weird camera shots at times where it was like the winning home run, but I got like not a great shot. I don't know. Like there was some misses there, like just from a production standpoint. The intro at the beginning didn't really do it for me. It wasn't as good as years past. I thought with Will Ferrell, and
that was awkward and weird, and it wasn't funny at all. I know they're trying to promote new golfing series, but it was just kind of like out of place, man.
The line about Junior, they're like, they had to fact check it, but he would be the first one person ever win the home run derby wearing braces. I thought was pretty funny, but yeah. So it was okay. I liked the personalities on the actual broadcast with like Vasgersian and Pujols and Barry Bonds to a certain extent. But I thought the production was a little bit lacking. But Philadelphia was sweet. Fans were awesome. I was like really hoping Junior was going to get against Schwarber to kind of just see how Junior handled that whole crowd effect. But he got bested by Jordan Walker, who was awesome. So
I'm going to go something. I'm going to go something. I like the presentation. I think an hour of pre-show was a little much before the actual home run derby started. So I would say it's something. I like the fact that they're going back to like the old school rules and everything. Love the fact that they brought back in Pujols and Barry Bonds. That was cool. Barry's really not a sociable guy from what I've heard from other media people. So that was cool to be him in public and then doing his analysis and stuff like that. That was really cool. Other than that, I think it was fine. It was great. I hope Netflix does it again. I think hopefully they tweak it a little bit and make it kind of more condensed and just get right to the action instead of doing an hour pre-show. But other than that was really good. All right. A wild card team will win the AL pennant this year. Something or nothing? Ryan, I'll go with you first.
Are you saying we are not winning the division?
Take the Rays out of this conversation first.
All right. I think it's
nothing.
Could be something. Could be nothing. I have kind of a middle ground. I think it's going to be whoever's the hottest team at the end of it.
There you go. That's a great answer.
It's who's hot at the right time, who's playing, who's the healthiest, and that's going to be who comes out on top.
What if the Rays are that wild card team?
I like our chances.
See, there you go.
I'll be the number one cheerleader.
Drew,
And I'm going to all the games on the road.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there on the top step wearing my parka and when we're in the cold somewhere in October. But I'll be cheering.
Definitely nothing, because the Rays are going to win the division and use the home advantage to the home field to their significant advantage, because I think we're on pace for like a historically great home record at this point. So yeah, it's a big nothing burger for me, because the Rays will not be a wild card team. Ryan, I actually have a quick question. You mentioned traveling. Why don't you travel with the team now? I guess, is that more of just like part of your rehab, like you need to hang back, or because I know sometimes guys travel like injured and
Some do. It's more long-term. Guys stay back. If you're just going to maybe be on it for the minimum 15 days, or giving you a break or
Gotcha.
something like that, then you'll go. But for the guys that are longer term on the injured list, they'll stay back, because you can also we have a rehab staff. So you have rehab trainers, rehab strength coach, all that stuff. So we're there with them before the guys come in, even when they're home, and then come back for the game later. So then we use those staff members when the team's on the road. It's just to limit the number of guys going on the road, I would say, as well.
Gotcha.
Last one, and this one kind of has to do with when Junior got hit during the All-Star game. The All-Star game should be moved to before the World Series. Something or nothing?
Nothing.
Oh,
I like the All-Star game in the middle of the season. I think it gives you a good little break from when you're much needed before you go through the dog days of the summer, as everyone calls it. Before you go to all the warm places when it's 100 degrees outside playing, now that we have a roof, thank goodness. But if you play at the end, then it's like the Pro Bowl. You might have some guys that haven't played in a few weeks, and the teams aren't going to want their pitchers to throw in that. So I think it would logistically be tougher as well.
what if you still had the break, but they only had the home run derby? Would you still want to move? Would the All-Star game be okay before the World Series? Still have the break, same spot, but only have the home run derby instead of the All-Star game.
I think you'd still run into the same issue logistically of people not playing in the All-Star game, because you're trying to go out and play a game. I mean, yeah, you may only play a couple innings, or a pitcher might only throw one, but if your team doesn't make the playoffs and you're done at the end of September and the game is towards the end of October, that's usually your time taken off of throwing before you start your ramp up, slow progression going into the next season. So guys probably are on their break or in Cancun, as like most of the NBA players are like, have fun in Cancun when they get knocked out of the playoffs or something like that.
All right, Drew, something or nothing. The All-Star game should be moved before the World Series.
Nothing for me, because I just don't like change when it comes to baseball. I'm anti-change for the most part. So I mean, I'm even trying to come to grips with like, all right, next year the CBA, like salary cap, salary floor, what that might look like if that actually happens. Like, I don't know. I don't feel great about it, because it just feels very different than what I'm used to. And I just like baseball how it is. So like, I like the All-Star break how it is, with Derby on Monday, game on Tuesday. I would prefer my favorite team's superstar third baseman to not get hit on the pinky by a 98-mile-an-hour sinker. That does affect my viewing experience in a significant way. So other than that, it's a big nothing burger for me.
I'm going to be the something guy. I'll be the something guy for this one. And I only say that because baseball has gone through changes with the pitch clock and the ABS system. I think you try it out maybe because, we don't want injuries to happen to our favorite players, especially like Junior coming here. Luckily, he didn't get an injury, which is great, but try it. I mean, you move the All-Star game before the World Series, still keep the home run derby in the break. That way all the players get their breaks, but there could be incentives to go play the All-Star game before the World Series. It'll be nice and cooler too, depending on where you have it. If you have it in the same spot where one of the hosted cities of the World Series is at, it could be cooler because it's October baseball. Get more incentives to go play. You could get, a little bit of chunk of change by playing in the All-Star game if you get selected. I'm just saying, try it out. You never know. Just saying. Something. Could be something. Pepiot's like, nope, I don't. Pepiot's like, no, I don't think so. No.
I hope to be preparing for the World Series and be one of the people that aren't playing. So
exactly. All right, we'll round out the show with our certified Flappy Boy. We always pick a certified Flappy Boy each week to highlight one of the best Rays fans that are out there right now. This week, we're going to highlight Luke Williamson. You can follow him on X at LTW0303. He is our this week's certified Flappy Boy. And we also have the winner of our Evan Longoria giveaway card. His name is Joe Lawless. Joe, congratulations. You have won the Evan Longoria baseball card giveaway for getting us to 350 subscribers. Thanks, buddy. Thank you. Awesome. All right, guys, final thoughts before we head on out of here, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend kind of sucked from a fan standpoint. I drank a little bit this episode. First time I've had some alcohol in a long time because I thought it was appropriate. Evan knows the last couple of years there would be some episodes where I was like, just got to have a little bit, something to take the edge off, just with the way the team was playing. So this weekend, I thought I called for a little beverage just to, have a nice little, at least a nightcap to the bad weekend in Boston. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sweating it. Trade deadline. I hope this creates some urgency. I don't pretend to know what the front office thinks. So like, again, very illogical to what most people would think, I'm sure. I would think this would create some urgency, but as Ryan has told us, baseball players and I'm sure front office personnel like Eric Nander do not operate based off emotion and emotional swings. So I am sure it's full steam ahead with their plan as usual, and we won't get any trades until August 3rd, which I'm just going to have to be okay with. So,
hey, at least you have to wait till August the 3rd.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you think he's taking into call, like starting to take calls right now? Do you think people are starting to make those types of phone calls?
I think there's some preliminary discussions conversations with teams, which like, would you be open to, is this guy out on the market? Or because I don't know how it is. It's not like you go to the supermarket and it's, okay, you got this graded ribeye and this graded strip today. I don't think it's like that. It's more, they're probably going out and making the phone calls where it's, hey, how about this guy? And they maybe know, absolutely not, we're keeping him, or something like that. But I also know Eric is very methodical with how he does business, and it's not necessarily just for right now in this season, it's also for the future too. And right. I know we've got some really, really good prospects that are very exciting that I've got to meet over the course of spring training the past couple of years. And Drew, I hope all of the drinking that you had to do over the 2 years didn't include coming from some of my poor starts.
No, I don't think so. And I really don't drink that much, but just a little gin, something a little. I found in the cabinet. I was
just had to flush it. It was hard to flush it. We had to flush the bottle, so then you had to flush the weekend. It coincides. I get it.
Yeah, we don't get the private plane trip, to a big league city to like, all right, let me just leave that back in Boston. Like it's business as usual for us fans here. So we got to find something different.
I hope the boys went to Jacob's Steakhouse tonight in Toronto and let off some steam from the weekend and enjoy a nice dinner and go ready to kick the Blue Jays' butt this week. But I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. I'll text them tomorrow and be like, did you guys go to dinner last night? Did you go to Jacob's? Did you go get a nice dry aged steak from there? But I think the final thoughts for me is just flush the weekend. Let baseball be baseball. Understand where we're at in the season, where it's just came out of the All-Star break. You still lead the division. Still are in a good standing for a playoff spot no matter what. And so what? You got swept. We swept people earlier on in the season. Now, how can we leave this one behind us in Boston and go to Toronto and come away with some victories and salvage the road trip?
And folks, that is the message to you fans from Ryan Pepiot himself. Flush the weekend. Boom.
Flush it. However you need to do it.
Double flush it, triple flush it sometimes. I like that. Let's go. All right, guys, that has been an episode of the Rays Rewind podcast, the sickest Tampa Bay Rays podcast on the Sick Podcast Network. Make sure to go to our YouTube page at the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind and our Instagram page at Rays Rewind Podcast. For myself, Drew, and Ryan Pepiot, who will be joining us the rest of the way, we will see you guys next week on the Rays Rewind podcast. See ya.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Rays Rewind with Bushman and Drew on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.